Hello and welcome to Lesson 3 of the Drawing Class session. I'm Krista Heidel and let's take a look what we're going to need for today's class. We are going to need a light pencil, maybe a 3B, apparently one of my favorites at the moment, and a darker pencil. So a nice graphite of 7B, or if you want to go into the H section, you for sure can for your light color. We will also be needing either crayons or some pencil crayons. I'm going to add some color to our creations today. Let's get started. If you want to use a ruler, you can use a ruler if it's handy for you, or a nice, relatively straight line down the middle of your page. We're going to be taking a look at different shapes in this video. Let's start with a triangle. A triangle has 3 points to it. Also, 3 lines are connected. Starting from the top, going down to the bottom right. Starting from the top, going down to the bottom left. And then connecting our lines. Trying our best to have our distance the same all around. Or we can have an obtuse angle for our triangle, and this means our crocodile's mouth is super wide. Scary. And then connecting that triangle there. Or we can have a cute little crocodile. With a teeny tiny opening, maybe not as scary. Eyelashes. And then connecting those teeth together to create our little triangle. Then we will also be having some circles. And a little trick to make a nice circular circle is to put our pencil on the outside of where we would like our circle, so where the line's going to be, and have a nice relaxed straight arm and around the circle. It is a little bit easier to get that nice big spin, a nice circular spin, or you can create your own circle as you please. Trying our best to keep our circles away from being ovals. For today's exercise, it's oh no, we do not want ovals, but if you make ovals, it's alright. And now we have a nice little face. We want some circles. And we also would like to see some squares, all approximately the same length, trying our best. But if you make some rectangles, that's cool too. We will be making exaggerated rectangles over on this side when we play our little game. And I'll demonstrate our game nice and quick in this little section. Still keeping your light colored pencil, light shaded pencil, we'll be using a dice starting with our triangles. So for example, if I say triangle 2 times, we will create 2 triangles in our space. Our goal is to create our shapes as quickly as we can. So I'm going to go quite fast with rolling the dice and saying and creating what we're going to be creating over here. In this exercise, in this little game, we're going to be seeing some foreground and background creations. Let's see, going down to our next one, our circle, rolled 5 circles. We can overlap 2, 3, we have a small, 4, or we can have big overlapping circles. And next we're on to a square. 1 square. There we go. And how many rectangles for our example? We're having 2 rectangles. That's my rectangle, and one more. I'm going to overlap a rectangle with a rectangle. And there it is. There's our example, and we are going to create some more over here and do a little something a little different as well to add on to the exercise. So let's go off, starting with a triangle, next one circle, square, rectangle, in that order. So here we go with our triangle. How many triangles are we going to be running as fast as we can? 5. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next is our circles. We are creating lots. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We do want some to overlap. If you need to adjust those circles, go ahead really quick. So here we go with our big numbers of squares, keeping those sides the same length. 3, 4, that one's almost a rectangle. 5. And here comes our rectangles, nice and long. There's 3 rectangles. There we go. These are the shapes that we will be working with. We can place our low number of pencil, or a lighter shaded pencil, and pick up our darker shaded pencil. All of our triangles are going to be at the top, so go ahead and trace over top of all of your triangle lines, even if it crosses over another one. These ones are going to be in the front or the foreground, closest to our faces. All around. 5 triangles we're looking for. I found 3. And at any time, if you need to pause the video, go ahead and pause the video, catch up with where I'm at. Or if you are nice and quick, jump ahead to where I am on to the next step. The next step is finding our circles. Making sure we go around the whole line of the circle except when it touches a triangle. If it touches a triangle, start close to the triangle and go around the triangle. This little section we will be erasing. Let's do that right now before we continue. Let's erase everything inside of our triangles, keeping those nice, strong, dark lines showing. I'm using my white eraser. It's going to erase very nicely for what I would like to do. Erasing the light lines. Okay, some more triangles down here. And don't worry if you get them, don't worry if you don't get them completely erased. Just trying our best to remember to stay away from the inside of those lines. So let's go ahead and outline our circles. Again, if the circle touches the triangle, stay away from that inside of the triangle line. Only go around the outside. Circles going around. Right here, I'm staying away from the inside of the triangle, and if you need to create more of a circular shape on your circles, we can go very, very fast. Go right ahead. And that's a circle. This is my almost oval circle. Next up, let's grab that eraser and erase inside of the circle. But we've already erased our triangle insides. Keep that nice dark line. We're only erasing light lines inside of our circles at the moment. And at any time, if you need a space over here to take off the graphite from your eraser to reduce that smudgy look, and see if you can pick up some more graphite from your paper, then you're more than welcome to get that nice white color of the eraser coming through. And erasing only the insides of the circles, even if the circle is touching the triangle. Keep that triangle there. And if you ever have eraser little bits, you can either wipe them off or keep them there for a bit. And next up is our square. Now we're going through all of the lines of our square unless it's touching a circle or a triangle. Pushing these shapes further and further into the background, taking that dark shaded graphite pencil and working around all of the squares. If it touches that triangle, stop at the triangle and either jump over top of the triangle or circle and continue the rest of your square. And this will show that our squares are behind our circles and also behind our triangles. This almost needs a little bit more on that circle to really show where the circle is. And there's one more square up here. Lots for each. And if for whatever reason your shapes went off of the page, or a little bit of your shape went off of the page, that's okay. Keep whatever was off the page off the page. And the rest on the page. So for example, if by accident we had our rectangle here, only go over the rectangle. Mistakes are happy accidents. And now let's erase everything inside of our square that is a light line. So keeping all of our circle lines, all of our square lines, and all of our triangle lines. More squares, there's a square. Gone over all of our squares. The only lines left should be your rectangles, those 3 rectangle lines. Now here, our rectangle is pushed as far back as it can go in our picture, as far away from our face as it can go in this specific picture. Let's draw on top and shade in a little bit darker those rectangle lines. And if we find a shape, stop at the shape, jump over to the next side of the shape where those rectangle lines continue. There's a tiny little space right there. Let's do this for all 3 rectangles at your own pace. So if you need to skip over the video if I'm going too slow, or if you need some more time, you can always pause the video and come back when you are ready. And there is my last rectangle. Now we're going to add in some color, some dimension, some depth. We're going to start off with the lightest color. That would be, for me, a yellow. And if you need to sharpen your pencil like I do, always prepared. Let's grab that sharpener, sharpen it up. And our triangles, we'll color a little piece of the triangle. These pencils are nice and old, and the lead is broken. That's okay, we will use it as best as we can. So here we go, finding all of our triangles on top or closest to our face when we're looking at our picture. Let's color in all of the triangles. Trying our best to stay inside the lines that we have created. And you're welcome to push as hard or as light as you would like. All of our shapes will be different colors today. I found all 5 of my triangles. Our next lightest color you can grab. I've chosen a nice light green for my circles. And coloring in my circles, staying away from the yellow sections of the triangle. And coloring everywhere else inside of those circles a nice green color, our second lightest color, whatever color you have chosen. This could be a light blue. If you only have pencils, starting with your lightest or lowest number in black for your triangles, and increasing the number the further we go back. So say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 3, 7, 8, anything like that. As long as our numbers go higher, the further back the further back we go into the picture. There's all of our circles colored in. Next are our squares. I'm going to be using a red color. Nice dark red. Squares. Only what's inside that square line. Staying away from our circles and staying away from our triangles. If you're using only pencils, we're getting darker or higher in number with our blacks. My wooden part of the pencil started scraping, so that part is going to be really hard to color in since it's scraped out. That's why we always want a nice sharp pencil. Not too sharp on some spots for shading and larger areas, but very sharp if we're doing some detailed work. And there we go. Next is our darkest of the colors, or darkest of the shades, before coloring in that background. So make sure you keep one shade a little bit darker ready to go. So I'm going to be using black on this one and black on this one, or the 8B. Here's my 7B for rectangles. And the direction doesn't really matter. But since I would like this rectangle to be further back than this one, I'm going to be lightening up on the pressure of my pencil, or coming back and darkening this one a little bit more. But I would like to lighten this one up so I have, for sure, lots of dark coming in on the background. Our shading example is all complete except for the background, which we'll take a look at right after we color in some blue, dark blue rectangles. And there we go, we have two different creations of depth. So let's see if we can color in the background with our 8B, or your highest, biggest, softest black. And we will be using the blending stumps to blend in our background even further to make our subject pops. Our triangles, rectangles, squares, circles, and I think that was it. Taking the largest blending stump you have, blend in that background. Staying away from your shapes. Oh no, our shapes are floating through space, and we can do the same thing over here if we would like, but to save on time in the video, I am going to keep the background here white. You can still see the difference between those light yellow triangles in the foreground that are closest to our face and those rectangles furthest away in the dark. Let's flip our page over and get a nice new sheet of paper to create objects using shapes. Let's section our paper into 4 sections. We will be creating 4 objects using shapes. And it's okay if your squares or your sections are bigger or smaller than the other sections. That will just mean your object may be bigger or smaller compared to other objects. Our first object is a crocheted pillow. Our pillow is in a square shape with little triangles separating each crochet. Let's start by creating a wavy square, and I'll put a picture of this here somewhere on the video so you can continue to see it as we create the triangle crochet markings. Let's make our pillow kind of wavy, and our crochets are lines across that pillow, so following your top line. Let's make some more lines, trying our best to keep them the same distance apart. All the way down to your bottom line. And as we get closer and closer to the bottom, try your best to match this bottom line. What it's doing, we're starting to get kind of a hump in the middle here. There we go. And our pillow has a lot of little triangles. Triangle here, triangle there, triangle there. And we are going to start by creating a lot of little triangles within our lines. And there's an upside triangle, there's another triangle, and zigzag lines all the way across to make a triangle, and then some upside down triangles. As our line curves, our little triangles will curve as well. And doing the same thing. Same direction. The lines weren't connecting down here, so we are going to make sure they connect. Go. And the next one we can do the same thing. Lines. And when our space gets longer, let's get them longer here too. Triangles. Same thing when we get down here, the triangles will be teeny tiny as we're nice and close from the curvature of the lines. There's the start, there we go. Connecting those lines. I'm going to keep going, speed up the video a little bit maybe. Here comes the section where lines get smaller in some and quite large in others. Seeing that curve or fluff of the pillow come through. crocheting has holes in it, our lines won't always connect beautifully to create that beautiful crochet design. And as we're on the edge here, it's curving under my lines a little bit. Could also add exaggerated lines here to show that connection, the in and out weaving of the thread, the crochet needle. You can also add a little bit of shading to it as well, along the edge to show that it's floating a little bit. And just a little bit on the bottom, not too far away to that side. And I'm pretending that the light is coming in from this, which we'll talk more about in another video. Next up, we have a butterfly that we are going to turn into a bat for Halloween. Let's start by finding the shapes in our butterfly, soon to be a bat. We have a nice little rectangle here. Here is one double there. And we're also going to make another little rectangle. And two circles. Circle, circle. Next, let's make an acute triangle coming from the rectangle here. So a little cute crocodile. And connecting at the top. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, starting our cute triangle. Whoops, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger to try and match the other side. There we go, keeping those lines for now. And we have more of a square here. Or rectangle. Trying my best to keep the same distance here and here. Could push it out a little bit more. And there are our shapes of the butterflies. Now let's go in and curve our shapes to create more of a butterfly or bat wing. And I'm going to switch to a little bit darker pencil, not too dark just yet. Yeah, 3B, 4B or so. We're going to follow our triangle line and curve it at the top. And our bat wings have a lot of C's in them. Let's make a strong C. Strong C. Strong C until we get to our square. Let's come in from the bottom of the rectangle that we have created all the way to this point over here. And let's add a little bit of a curve as well. So curve. And let's connect our wings. Little C curves. Let's do the exact same thing on the other side. Switch hands. Nope. Starting at the top of our rectangle on the right side this time, or if you did the left side first. I'm left-handed, so I do like doing it the left side first. Let's follow our triangle and cut off at the top. Extend it a little bit more to match this side. You can always use a ruler to specifically have the same exact triangles on both sides to help you get the exact two sides exactly the same. And we made some C's going backwards down our triangle until we touched our rectangle, a larger rectangle. We went from the corner here of our rectangle, little tiny rectangle, to the point of our larger rectangle. There we go, and finish off those C's connecting at the bottom. And they're a little bit different on each side. Bats are different on each side as well, but again, you can use your ruler to specific spots. One right on top of the pillow. And let's create that bat body. Following a rectangle, we're going to have kind of a curved rectangle. Curve it a bit. And this butterfly's head is right here. We're going to pop our head a little bit higher. Here's a circle. And I'm connecting it. Because bats do not have these antennas. They have little triangle bat ears. There's our little triangles. If you want to give your bat a little face, you for sure can. And there's our bat. Go ahead and add some lines. Some little fingers at the top. And there we go. We have our little bat. You want to do little feet, wherever the feet are on a bat, you can add in those feet as well. And you could shade it in using your shading thumb or a darker shade or higher number of B. This blending stump was already darkened by graphite. that's why it is blending so nicely already. But you can always color in some black graphite or dark graphite, color your blending stump over top, pick up that graphite and put it onto your back. Next, we're going to be creating a large vase. This one has a lot of circles and ovals in it. It's going to be this view from the side from up there, or if you're looking at me, here's our side view. So let's look at this side view here. We have a nice oval coming around here. So let's put in our oval. And keep going until you feel you have hit that oval feel. Right here, we have more of a rectangle. So let's add in a rectangle about here. And at the top, we have a very flat, long, squished circle. Bottom here, we have another little rectangle. Little, there we go. Little rectangle. And a flattened circle again. There we go. These are the shapes we'll be using to create this vase, our ovals and our rectangles. Now all we need to do is connect where we believe all needs to be connected. Taking a look again, this oval can be a bit bigger. There we go, let's try it out. Starting from the top of your tiny little squished long circle. Oval. Down and around to our large oval. And then back around and down to our smaller oval. And there's the outline to your vase. And do the same thing on this side, starting from the top circle all the way around and down to the bottom circle. There we go. And that was a 2B, an HB2 pencil, but I'm going to find a darker pencil. And outline the spots that I feel are the outline of the vase. Keep all of your other creation drawings and little sketches in there. There we go, a little bit more of a curve on that one there. And there is this opening here. If I put my hand in like this, I can see this front curve and I can also see some stuff going on back here. We're going to follow along this whole back part of the oval. And there we go, there's our basic outline of our vase. We do see some shadowing going on here and here because this part is closer to the light, and at the moment the light in this room is up over there. Let's see if we can create some shade. Inside of our vase, it's going to be the darkest. And where the light is hitting, so the light is hitting this way, this part is away from the light. It's blocking the light. So I am going to shade in a little bit there. We'll use our smudging tools to help us out as well. And we're coming down like this. Let's shade a little bit of this lip. And this part is completely covered by the light. The light's hitting right here and not making it all the way there, so that's where it is going to be a little bit darker. And most of this side, because the light is hitting this side and it's blocking right here, is blocking this side. So let's create that darkness over here. And we'll be looking more into shading and shadows within the next few videos. So let's make this a little bit darker here because this part is blocking the light. I know there's some reflections. We're going to ignore those reflections for right now. And same with right here. This part is blocking the light from hitting down here. So let's color in a little bit there. And there's our vase. And we'll shade it in a little bit. Nothing too fancy. Maybe add some shadow behind the vase where it's not getting hit. And we'll talk about how to create this shadow in upcoming videos. But for now, you have created a lovely vase. And it doesn't have to be exact at the moment. We are still learning. Lastly, it's still fall when I've created this video, and let's make a leaf. Finding the shapes of our leaf and adding a little bit of shadow, adding a little bit of that shadowy feel to our leaf. So this leaf is very complex. There's no discerning triangle, no rectangle, nothing big and straight. We do have some triangles here, but what we're going to do is create a square and separate it, just like our page, into 4 sections. And I'm going to try and keep the same angle kind of going here. That means I'm going to turn the leaf, so make it a little bit easier for us, into 4 sections. There we go, there's our 4 sections. Our first line is going to be our stem. So let's create a little bit of a curve on our stem. Nothing too fancy, but still drawing along the line. I'm giving that little fold at the end. You may notice I'm doing lots and lots of different little tiny lines. They can all be erased, and it also adds to the creation process. This is a huge leaf, so my line is going to keep going all the way to the top. Adding some curves and reaching the top. There we go, there's our leaf. Now let's create a triangle. A triangle. There's the triangle. And we're going to create a box for this little section here. Don't worry about the dimensions at the moment. Again, here we're going to create a triangle. This one's more triangle-like, but it's higher on the leaf. Triangle, and this one here is more of a rectangle, so let's bring that one down a bit. So I'm making my stem a little bit too small, and it extends past our triangle. There's our leaf. Really quick, let's extend the stem. Starting right here, our smaller rectangle, or more so a square, let's create some ups and downs all the way to the edge. And again, all the way to the edge, some ups and downs. And this one here, we're going to create a C. And a nice line going all the way across, connecting to our triangle. And I'm using a nice light 3B to start off with. And then a little whoop, following all the way down to our intersection of the triangle and rectangle. Go, And on our rectangle, we'll get a little bit closer here. Nice little point. Let's create that C all the way through and around. With a little bit of a darker, a higher number in black, let's create some more definition in our leaf. Following along on the same lines, let's follow here. And then start creating some pointy triangles along your leaf line. Pointy triangles. All the way up to this point. You can go in reverse and pointy triangles. There we go, there's our pointy triangles. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's follow around and down and start creating some pointy triangles. Curving it a little bit at the bottom to create a kind of leaf nature look. There's the point. And as we come in here, we're lengthening out our triangles a little bit. Tucked away pretty soon in this nice straight line. There we go, there's the outline of our triangle. Let's add in some lines, starting here, following that feel of our outside lines to create some of our veins of our leaves. And this one has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at the top, getting smaller and smaller. So it's going to follow. Follow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a tiny 8 at the top. Line. Let's go from the point all the way down, down, down. There's a bit of a curve going on there. And this one is the same. Connected, yes, they're connected. Starting on here, starting right here. Following that line that you have at the bottom, all the way to the edges, and starting to point up. Oops. Okay. And then we have a leaf. Let's add some more veins. Adding some squiggly veins here and there to each of our master veins. Then we're going to add in some shadowing right along here where our leaf is folded. This is the sun pushing. This side is blocking pieces of the sun from coming through to this side, so that means the other side is in shadow. And adding some points. This side's up a little bit, we can add some shadow there, not too much. And let's add some shadow behind. This is a deep vein there, very bent. Add some there. And a little bit of shadow back here. And where those veins go deep. Wow, some smudging. And there's your first attempt at at a leaf. This was a tricky one, but you did very well finding those shapes in your leaf, getting some shading on. So next class, we'll be learning a little bit more about shading and shadow, the distance between our shadows. Thank you for joining me today in today's lesson, lesson number 3 of K Music and Design's drawing class. Happy artistic learning! 3. Whoops. A squeaky desk. Oh, and a broken pencil. Next, let's make an acute rectangle. Lots of dirt. There's a plant inside. Right here we have a bit of a triangle. And there's the basis of our pot. And there's the basis of our vases.